Hey friends, this is Rachel, the Water Fire Mama. This video is for anyone who is walking alongside someone in survival mode because of constant caregiver stress or because they are dealing with a major crisis like a new diagnosis or hospitalization. The people who surround these water fire walkers have the unique opportunity to support them in a life-giving way. Today, we're going to talk about practical and tangible things we can do to care for the high-impact caregivers in our lives through words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, gifts, and acts of service. Welcome back. This is the last video in our mini-series that talks about how we can support high-impact caregivers and other people going through hardship. In the last couple of videos, I mainly focused on some helpful ways to talk with these water fire walkers, as well as some things that we don't want to say. Today, we're going to talk about specific and practical things to do to ease their burden and encourage them. You might be close to a person who is snowed under because a person in their family requires round-the-clock care and attention. Or you might know someone who is traveling back and forth from the hospital because they or someone they care for is undergoing treatment for a long-term illness. Or maybe the person you're thinking of has just lost a loved one and is overwhelmed by grief. These people often put their own physical and emotional needs on the back burner because they only have the bandwidth to do the things that are strictly necessary. We can freeze up when we come face to face with someone who is going through pain and hardship. We want to say something, do something to ease their way, but come up short on what we can actually do that would be meaningful to them and manageable for us. Let's dive into practical, action-oriented things we can do to love on these water fire walkers. As I thought about the things that people around us have done to support us throughout our journey, I realized that they fall into similar categories as the 5 love languages. If you're not familiar, author Chapman wrote a series of books presenting the idea that we give and receive love in ways that fall into 5 main types: words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, gifts, and acts of service. Now, this isn't a flawless structure for understanding love, but it can be a pretty useful tool as we try to figure out how to show love to someone with a different perspective. Let's take just a moment to talk about how you can use each of these love languages, in no particular order, to support someone going through hardship. First, words of affirmation. In my last video, I talked about how the act of listening with empathy and asking deepening or open-ended questions can be really affirming and life-giving, and this can be a great place to start. To speak the love language of words of affirmation, be as specific as possible in giving encouragement and sincere compliments. If you're not really sure what to say, try bringing up something you've seen them do within their struggle that you admire. Keep in mind that saying something like, "You're holding up really well," might signal to them that this isn't a safe space to show their more vulnerable side. Try something like, "You've done such a lot of research into her condition," or "You seem to really know what he needs, even when he can't tell you," or "You are such a great advocate for her with the school administration. That takes a lot of guts." Next, quality time. In the Bible, when Job was going through the worst tragedy in history, he had 3 friends come to comfort him. They sat with Job for 7 days and nights without saying a word. Now, when they did finally open their mouths, they didn't have very helpful things to say. But I think this story demonstrates the power of simple presence when someone is going through a hard time. Another way of thinking about this is just keeping them company. The days I spent at the hospital with my son Luke when he was an infant were often very lonely. It was nice to have a friend come in the middle of the day and share lunch with me. Several times we had friends invite us over to their home for dinner so we could get away from the hospital scene for a little while and enjoy some good conversation and food. Maybe you invite your special needs mom friend over for tea or for a walk around the neighborhood, or your special needs dad friend for a poker night, golf outing, or over to watch the ball game. Keep in mind that a caregiver may not be able to leave their charge, especially if they're a single parent, but would still enjoy some time with you. Maybe try asking if they would like to have a movie or a game night at their house and you bring over all the supplies. Next, physical touch. Some people are huggers and some people are not. So you'll definitely want to take your cue from the caregiver and how established your relationship is with them on this one. But a hug, a hand on the arm, or taking their hand in yours can be very comforting in times of high stress. When in doubt, ask something like, "Could you use a hug right now?" Or "Want me to sit with you a while?" Or just use a different love language. Next to last, we have gifts. Some people have a knack for this one. When our son Luke came home from the hospital after his second airway reconstruction surgery, he was going through methadone withdrawals, I was 8 months pregnant, and none of us were sleeping. A gentleman from our church managed a mattress store at the time, and he showed up at church one Sunday with a set of premium cooling memory foam pillows. To this day, my pillow is one of my favorite creature comforts. A few different families throughout our journey with slightly older children have given us gently used hand-me-down clothes for our boys. On top of saving us so much money every time our kids grow, it takes a lot of energy to take Luke clothes shopping. So being able to go through a clothing haul in my house at my own pace without having Luke run amok in Target is quite helpful. You may not run a mattress store or have clothes to hand down, and that's okay. Think about the resources and connections that you do have and offer to put them at the disposal of your special needs family. A lot of these families don't have money for extras like eating out, coffee runs, or entertainment, so gift cards are a nice way to enable them to get a little something fun for themselves. A care package is a great gift that you could put together on your own or with a group of friends. Whatever you put in there will be awesome, but if you need some inspiration, you might add their favorite candy or treat, a pound of their favorite coffee, a good book, a journal and pens, or a scented candle. Or you might try thinking of a theme for your care package, like date night in a box or spa day in a box. Finally, acts of service. This one may take a little more putting yourself out there than the others, but it's a huge one for high impact caregivers. When Luke was in the hospital as a baby, when my husband David wasn't in the office or in the pulpit, he was usually hanging out in the ICU with us. One day he came home to see that our yard had been mowed and edged. One sweet lady from church took up our laundry for the week and returned fresh smelling baskets of clothes. One friend came over and helped me fix the internet connectivity issue I was having with my laptop. Acts of service means donating your time and skills to do something for the special needs family. Offer to pick up groceries or run an errand. Come over and help with chores, cleaning, or yard work. Solve a problem or do research for them or fix something that's broken. Bring them dinner or a coffee. Learn the specific needs of their child and offer to babysit for a few hours so they can go for a night out. If you have this space in your life, consider offering to be that family's regular go-to person for something. We have a couple that routinely takes Luke to sit with them in church every Sunday so I can listen to the sermon. They take such a load off my spirit, knowing that I won't have to sacrifice my attention during worship time or spend the energy finding someone for him to sit with. And one of the most important ways you can love high-impact caregivers is to pray for them. It's incredibly encouraging to know that someone has been on their knees taking your situation to God in prayer. If you know of a specific situation the family is facing, pray for that. Pray for the child's condition and behavior. Pray for the health, both physical and emotional, of everyone in the family. Pray that they get good, restorative sleep at night and energy and strength for the long days. Pray that God would provide for the family materially and financially. If the caregiver is married, pray for the marriage to be an anchor and a source of joy. One more word on caring for the caregiver through the 5 love languages before we go. You may not know the person's primary love language, and that's okay. Speak yours. It's way better for you to do something to love them than to hold back because you're not sure you can do it perfectly. So take a look at the ideas we've put out on the table today, pick your favorite one, and commit this week to love on a caregiver in some way, no matter how small. Put down in the comments what you're going to try. In my next video, I'll get back to the topic of caring for yourself whenever the bottom drops out of your world. We're going to talk about how to care for yourself spiritually. Don't forget that I've left the link to get my free guide for caring for yourself in crisis in the description. Just fill out the contact form to get that sent to your inbox. Give this video a thumbs up if it's helped you, and hit the subscribe button so you get notified when I post a new video. Remember, our God goes before us and is our rear guard. He's going to carry us through these tough days. He's got you, and I'm here to help. I'll see you next time.